Great. So we will kick off this last section and hopefully have some time for questions. I know there's a lot of interest and questions that we've been working with Emily on, and we're so excited to have more information for you all. So I'm actually going to kick it over to Sri, and he will give you a quick update.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Again, this is Sri Kulkarni, your Director of External Affairs here. I was very happy to see all the shout outs from Maine to Michigan to Missouri to Georgia, Washington State there, because we know how important our state media markets are to grow awareness of this campaign. And so that's why, again, we're partnering with you, the state commissions, to offer these co-branded PSAs for local media markets. Now, we're out in 65 markets already, but it takes you. Your help is needed to make sure that this gets out to as many people as possible. Last year, this program generated over $10 million in donated airtime. And the number one among those was Montana, which got over $1 million in donated airtime alone. So we can do better than that this year with your help. And it is extremely important for us because when you use our co-branded materials, we are tracking these state by state. We want to make sure that we are sharing best practices, that we're seeing where we're getting the most impact from this. So if you look on the next slide, you'll see that we have two different options for tracking, one with AmeriCorps logo in your state and one co-branded with the commission logo as well. Please send these along. Ask us any questions you want. You can send those questions to logos@cns.gov. But remember, this takes your involvement to make sure that we have the maximum impact possible. So I want to thank you all so much for your efforts.
Thanks, Sri, and thanks, Emily, who we've been coordinating with to get all of those logos in our inboxes and in the one color version that we need for this. So if you haven't done that already, there's still an opportunity to let those trickle in. The AmeriCorps logo that has the state name underneath it, that's the default for this program. Again, just to keep the message simple, but so if you don't send in a state commission logo, that's what will be default available for your state to download. But for those that would like to co-brand with the state commission, please make sure that we have those logos. If you haven't sent them in already, we've got about, it's about a 2 to 3 week lead time for our partners at Causeway to get those encoded and customized and available for download. So stay tuned on there, but I'm going to pass it over to Megan at Causeway, who's going to walk you through their portal and more information on tracking and reporting.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here, and I'm also joined by my colleague, Matt. We just want to take a few minutes to walk everyone through the affiliate page here, which we've taken screenshots, but I do just want to reiterate that all of this information will be shared in a Leave Behind toolkit as well. But we thought this opportunity would be great to virtually share with you. So the PSAs are accessible to you all. The URL is right on top there, causewaypsa.com/AmeriCorps. These are the national PSAs, and then the customized versions will be populated here for your accessibility as well. So we encourage you to come here, download and save the PSAs when you are prepping to start your own local media outreach. This is also the same location where you can access reporting. So the button on the right side here, Access PSA Reporting. We can move on to the next slide. Yep, thank you. So that is the button you would press, and then it takes you to the next slide, which shows the login page. So this is a username and password required, which is included in the toolkit that we'll be sharing. Username AmeriCorps, password Causeway. And then that takes you to the next slide. So by clicking on this hyperlink project number, that then takes you into the reporting page where you can access the different reports, which will be populated regularly. You'll see the list of PSAs under the report title, They include the length, and then down below the reports where the arrows are, these are hyperlinks, so you'll be able to access an executive summary, a station airing detail report, as well as a state report, which we hope will be very useful in just tracking airings in your local markets. The next slide actually shows a screenshot of the type of information you'll be able to access from the state report. This is just an example, since obviously the customized PSAs haven't launched quite yet. So you'll be able to see by city, by state, number of airings, impressions, value, etc. So we hope that this is really helpful. Of course, as you're conducting your outreach and checking the reports, if there's any questions that arise, we're here for you. We're so excited to be a part of this campaign and happy to help however we can. If we can jump to the next slide, we can quickly, just on a high level, share some tips. And again, this information is also included in the toolkit that you'll have access to, but we like to just share tips for prepping when reaching out to the media. So putting together your list of targeted stations, thinking about optimal times to reach out, which I believe Sam had referenced earlier. It's just critical to be mindful of what else is going on in your community when you're reaching out to media. Identifying the PSA contact. This can take a little bit of time, just figuring out the right person at the station to speak with. So you want to just plan your call or visit accordingly. Have a good understanding of what types of community affairs are being focused on in your market. And you obviously, I'm sure everyone already knows, but have your kind of elevator pitch and supporting metrics ready. There's such good news to share, and the media will love to hear about AmeriCorps and all that is being done in your local market. We can jump ahead to the next slide. So we recommend creating an activity log. This just helps kind of keep yourself organized. We also just want to be mindful of the length of time that it can take for PSAs to be added to rotation. So even if you speak with a PSA director, it can take up to 4 to 6 weeks to really see the PSA airing in your market. So don't get discouraged, but it's always good to be able to check in and follow up. And that's why the reporting, we hope, is really helpful, so that you can check back whenever you can and really track those airings. It's always good to stay in touch and really cultivate that relationship with the PSA director at the station. So checking in, sending a note of thank you if you see the PSAs running. And of course, on the flip side, if you're not seeing airings, you can always politely check back and get feedback, and hopefully in the coming months, the spots will be aired. So we can jump ahead.
Thanks so much, Megan. We have a question off the bat, and again, encourage folks to go into the Q&A panel to add in questions for Causeway or us around the dollar values and how they're estimated. Can you give us a little more clarity, Megan, on how Causeway, what sort of system they use for estimating donated dollar values, so that way they can make sure they're pulling the right numbers?
Sure. So yeah, and this would be consistent across all airings. Obviously, the station that a PSA is aired on, the time of day, the number of airings, et cetera, those are all taken into consideration. There's different lengths, obviously, so a 60-second versus a 15-second PSA airs, there's a value for each. And we use Nielsen to remain consistent and use industry best practices, but mostly we just obviously want to be consistent across the board.
Great, thank you. Yeah, so Emily, this time around, folks won't have to juggle between 2 different dollar values to choose, and we'll be sticking with Nielsen. Thanks for the question. Any other questions from our commission folks? I know that we're just getting you a link to that toolkit, so excited for you all to dig in and find those resources useful. If you have any questions that pop up as you're doing that, please reach out to AmeriCorps at that socialmedia@cns.gov email, and we can track down answers for you. All right, we got a question from Michaela. Can the co-branded or AmeriCorps state be modified? Add another logo media partner? Great question. Unfortunately not. We are sticking with just the 2 logos maximum for this program. So other videos that you all produce that relate to your program or have other partnerships, those are certainly encouraged. But when it comes to just consistency for this project, we'll be keeping those logos consistent. But great question. Maureen asks another great question. Is it possible to add the commission website to the PSA on the co-branded slide? Unfortunately, this isn't something we're allowing either. We want to make sure that, the main goal is directing people to AmeriCorps sites to learn more about their service opportunities. It's really a recruitment-focused message. We want to make sure we're sending everybody to the same place. It also helps us for tracking the impact of this campaign. So we won't be allowing the URL to be adjusted. Emily has a great question. How will values be tracked in states that might share media markets? Can both states still count as match? My assumption would be that they could be, but Megan, do you have any insight on that? If not, we can follow up on this question offline.
Yeah, so we'll have an executive summary report and then a station airings detail report as well as the state report. So there will be a few different ways to look at the airings. The state report will just be by state, but again, the station airing details report breaks it down and airings down by market. So I think we would be able to attribute airings accordingly between the different reports, if that's helpful.
Great, thank you. Looks like we have a question from Linda. We currently have a contract with the Georgia Association of Broadcasters. They guarantee us a 4-to-1. Can we count this as additional in kind? Linda, let's follow up offline. We'd love to get more details on that arrangement and see if that's something a little bit different. Thank you. Appreciate the questions about mixed markets. As much of Vermont is covered by a mixed market with New York, a clear answer on that would be great. I'll follow up directly. Thanks, Philip. Yeah, we definitely, we may need to also reach out to our OGC friends, our general counsel friends, and when it comes to that grantee match program, I know there's some things that may affect getting you that clear answer, but we'll follow up. All right, any last call for questions? Great, well, thanks again, everybody. I know it's a lot to give an hour away on a Wednesday, so appreciate you jumping on. We hope you found this helpful, and definitely stay in touch with us. And we're just really, really grateful for your partnership. And we're looking closely at that $11 million record we set last time around. So we're aiming to beat it. So can only do that with you. So thanks again and take care. We'll talk soon.